Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hyperlight Drifter, one of my favorite games of all time. I think this game consistently, I would say, falls into my top two or top three favorite games. I actually did a Let's Play for this game when it first came out on my channel quite a while ago, but the quality is super low, and the game's a little bit different now. I just wanted to do another run through of it, just for old time's sake, just because I really enjoy it. Kind of part of like those Sunday, sorry. Uh, like what am I even trying to say? On Sunday, I kind of want to do longer series that record for an hour or so. So I kind of want to do a sort of a walkthrough for Hyperlight Drifter. There was a time when I probably could have found all the gear bits and done everything, but I just want to do the major things in this one, like get all the costumes, do all the little side mini games, get all the keys, and get all the modules. So, I guess, yeah, this will be somewhat a walkthrough, but not a 100% guide. Anyways, I really enjoy this game a lot, and I haven't played it in a while, and I just wanted to put up a higher quality run through of this game on my channel because I love the game so much. And it'll also be kind of interesting to, maybe for me, go back and watch the other series and kind of see how things have changed. From, the time when I played it was, less than a week after it came out, and then now they've added quite a few new things, and they've just changed some stuff, I guess. Because the game is sort of open-ended, there's the 4 areas of the map you can go to right off the start, and depending where you'd go, some areas would kind of just be pretty much assume that you would do them later, and you'd have some upgrades in the triple dash, and things would be incredibly unforgiving if you didn't have, the chain dash. And they kind of changed some small stuff to make it so, if you did go there early, you don't really get punished. It's just kind of a lot of little tiny things. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you enjoy this series. Alright, so that intro is pretty loud and long, and it's unskippable. There's a little trick where if you want to start multiple files, specifically if you're trying to do the achievement for beating the game with no deaths, if you have to watch that every time, it can get really annoying. If you, before you do anything, even moving from that campfire, if you quit the game and then copy your file, and just copy it, into all 4 slots or whatever, then you can have fresh characters ready to go immediately, without having to go through that again. So it's kind of helpful if you're trying to get the 0 deaths achievement, because that that intro is pretty long and it's super loud. So I don't know. I've been messing around a lot with audio settings lately since I got my new microphone, and I'm still trying to work on the balance between game and voice, getting that all properly set up. I think I should be getting a handle on it more quickly now because I'm kind of able to monitor the actual numbers while I play. So I just need to start paying attention to the numbers and finding out what is a good level and what's not. Like on my little second screen here that I have set up to watch the recording, OBS tells you like the decibels that you're using, you know? And so, like, if I find, oh, this game is appropriate volume when the desktop audio is reaching, you know, negative 15 decibels or whatever, then maybe that'll just be the case for all games, or maybe just this one specific game. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, moral of the story is I mean, the post-processing should help with any crazy loudness anyways, but I hope that intro didn't blow up your eardrums anyways. So yeah, anyways, this is kind of just a sort of relaxed playthrough, walkthrough type thing for Hyper Light Drifter. Most of the games I've done on the channel, I haven't really played before, and a lot of them, if I have played them, it's been a long time, so I wouldn't really consider myself to be like an expert in any of the games that I've played ever, and I wouldn't really say that I'm a good source for walkthroughs generally. And honestly, I was thinking about doing this game as a walkthrough, like this now playthrough. I was thinking I should probably like go through and beat the game a few times, and 100% it a couple times before I made this walkthrough. But I think it's not a 100% walkthrough; it's just like a general. Also, I don't know if anybody cares about this because this game is like 2 years old now or something. But this game is so fun to me, so I'm gonna do it just because it's such a blast. And I figured with like Sunday's longer recording sessions, I could probably get like one sector done each week or something, maybe something in that neighborhood, or at least a big chunk. I think I might just do like one sector a week, and then like whatever related goodies go along with that. And I'll probably just do it like in standard order, just for the sake of being a normie. I think that it's kind of the plan. So I'm probably going to do like north, then east, then west, and then south. And I'm going to try to go through the whole game without breaking the mirror. So we'll see if that happens or not. I'll probably accidentally break the mirror at some point. I don't know if it ever gets fixed. I thought it didn't, but it might, possibly. So I think you have to pick that up, and that's kind of just showing you really vaguely, like, collecting the little modules fills in each sector's module requirements. This game takes a really minimalist approach to storytelling, and I don't really know, like, if I've ever even found out what the story is because of that. It's like you're just some sort of nomad running around collecting stuff, basically, and then you come across this world that's falling apart because of some ancient evil, and then your quest is to, like, get the thing to become more powerful, but in the end you destroy it or something. So it's pretty vague. I guess it's left open to interpretation. I think this game is pretty arcadey in the sense that it's more about the gameplay, at least definitely for me. I guess I'm not a super huge fan of like mega vague storytelling like this, because there probably was like an interesting story in the creator's mind, but he didn't really tell it. So, or they didn't really tell it. I don't know who made this game. If it was like 20 people, if it was like all ladies, if nobody identified themselves, who knows? Whatever. So I think that little like intro thing where it showed you basically what the little modules do, or like it showed 1/4 of a square filling in the little box. It kind of shows that pointing, if you look on the map, there is, oh yeah, I guess there's like here in the upper left there's that little box, and it, you know, sort of broken up into the 4 sectors, north, east, south, and west, and it showed one of the quarter squares being applied to the north, which kind of subtly like tells people to go north right off the bat. And I think a lot of people do start in the north, just because like going up there's like the shops and stuff. I don't know, it's like the most direct path out of town, and they kind of give you like this subtle hint right away to go north. And it really is built as the early stage. Like everything is fairly like I'm around the same difficulty, I guess, and it can all get kind of intense. But the north is the easiest. Like if you go here last with full upgrades and everything, you can just like plow through stuff. It's kind of amazing and hilarious. Oh, also, this little symbol on the ground represents secrets. Like anytime there's that symbol on the ground, you can usually like use the little robot buddy that I call Ping to like check for invisible platforms, or there's like something you can dash over to. So if you keep an eye out for little symbols on the ground, you can usually find a lot of secrets that you might have missed, or at least save yourself a lot of time while hunting for all the stuff. And there's not one of those on the ground for all the secrets, but for quite a lot. So yeah. This game is kind of subtle in a lot of ways, I guess. Like, I didn't even know about, like, see, here's another one. I didn't even know that that was a thing through my entire first playthrough. In part because I had a tiny monitor, and it is really subtle. But I would just, like, rub my face on all the walls and hope for the best. But a lot of the walls that you can actually do secret stuff with have those little markings, so it can be fun and useful. Keep an eye out for those. Makes yourself feel like a cool dude when you like get one of them or whatever. I think one of the updates they made to the game after it came out was they added more gear bits, which is like the little gold money things. They added more gear bit drops off of killing enemies. I can't remember exactly like what enemies did and didn't drop gear bits, but I do remember like playing the game through, loving it, and playing it again, like doing New Game Plus, and then not playing it for a while, coming back and just being like, there's a lot more gear bits now. Like at some point I recognized that there were, but now I couldn't tell you like where you would get them before and where you wouldn't. But I think they just added a lot more gear bits at some point, just to make it easier to get all the upgrades. You definitely do not need to get all the gear bits to get all the upgrades, which is kind of handy. And it makes you feel a little bit goofy when you get like 100%, because there is no achievement for like getting everything, which is all the gear bits included, which are by far the hardest to get all of, just because there's so many. I don't know that there's like one gear bit that's the hardest thing in the game to get. Finding all of them all together, just like you have to comb over everything, and if you miss one, it's just like, well, have no idea where that could be. There's like a million different places. But yeah, once you buy all of the upgrades possible, and then you're still collecting all the gear bits, and you'll have like, you know, 5 or 6 or something of the actual upgrade tokens left over that are just like completely useless. I mean, there's a lot in the end. So apparently a lot of the story actually is told through these pillars. That kind of reminds me of the language or the number system in Fez, but yeah, people did like decrypting on that, and it kind of vaguely tells the story of the game. There's an area you can go to where, as you unlock all those pillars from the 4 different areas in the game, it like puts them all together on one wall, and then people just like did standard substitute decryption or whatever, and then I don't remember what it says. I guess I could throw it up on the screen now, maybe. I hope I did. And then yeah, I guess that's some of the backstory. So again, there's like 16 secrets in the game that once you find them, then you have to decrypt from like a nonsense language into English, I guess, to get something that's kind of vague. So it is a little bit like, all right, do you want me to know what's going on or not? But again, the story definitely takes a backseat to the gameplay for me in this particular game, just because the gameplay is so good. And it really starts picking up once you get the chain dash, which I would highly, highly, highly recommend as everybody's first upgrade, and then probably the charge attack as your second. And then beyond that, it's probably preference. Like there's sort of 2 different dash attacks that are like subtly different, and then there's like reflecting bullets is very useful as well. And then there's like iframes on dashes into bullets only, which is usually the last upgrade I get. Also, something that might be hard to notice at first is that it looks like there's 4 modules per area, and then also like this little thing right here kind of hints at the fact that there's 4 modules per area. But if you look closely, there's actually 8 modules per area, and getting all 8 is required for like some little special bonuses. So, you know, finding all the gear bits in the game is not really like that useful. Finding all the costumes in the game has like small little effects, and all the keys are pretty much just so you can also get all the costumes. But finding all the modules actually, I would say, is like the 100% collection thing that is most worthwhile. It actually has like significant gameplay, like significant amounts of extra gameplay if you go above and beyond and look for all extra 8 modules. Like, going out of your way to get all of the costumes is not like, wow, what a much more fulfilling experience now, but it is good. So, I mean, I enjoyed the game so much that I wanted to 100% it, and then replay it, and then make a walkthrough, and then probably, like, do a New Game Plus, like, where you have 2 health walkthrough, and then maybe do, like, a Doggy Man walkthrough. If you were a Kickstarter backer for a while, was the only way you could... Ooh, jeez. Was the only way you could get access to the extra character, but eventually they just released it for everybody, which is pretty cool. So yeah, now there's another character who's like mostly ranged attacks. He has only 3 health all the time, but he does only ranged attacks, and like the range and width on it is pretty dang wide, so actually having only 3 health is not a huge detriment to him, because the whole game is still built around melee, so everything's pretty dang easy. It's like if you had infinite gun, basically. Super good, though. I can't remember if I beat the entire game with the dog guy. I don't know that I did. He's like an Anubis dog-looking dude, is the bonus character. It's pretty fun. I can't remember if I ended up beating like the final boss even. That might have been on my old computer. Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, it was definitely on my old computer, so I don't know if I, like, finished it before I built the new one, and on my hard drive I don't have the old guy, so I don't know what I was doing. I was thinking that those guys dropped a gear bit and then there was another one in a box, but I guess not. I guess there's 2 health kits up here is what there's 2 of. Whoa, okay, so apparently during that little cutscene you can continue walking forward, and then after the cutscene ends you will teleport to whatever position you were in. Also, don't fight these guys on stairs, evidently. That was kind of cheap, but it was fun, so... Dogs have very lingery hitboxes. Like, I found a good technique for fighting the dogs is with the pistol, shoot them once as they're kind of running up to you, and they'll try to do their bite, but like the knockback stun from it will kind of just hold them in place, and then by the time the bite completely ends, they'll sort of just slide right in front of you and just have to hit them once and they're dead. But you do have to kind of be careful approaching them because their bite has like a very lingery hitbox, so it looks like their attack is done and you still take a damage anyways. If you'd really like to, I think if you just go to the opening section before you kind of get into the actual level itself, for each sector, like north, east, south, and west, there's kind of just like a little grassy field area before you break into what is like the individual climates. Like the north is all snowy and the east is all watery and the west is all foresty, but like this little area and like this little area and this little area are all kind of just like grassy fieldy. I think if you like get all of the gear bits you can from each one of those, you can get enough upgrade points to like buy the charge attack or the dash or something, and so you can have a little advantage going into the rest of the game. But I don't really feel like it's necessary, especially if you're starting out going north. maybe, I mean, maybe just for the sake of being as powerful as you can, as quick as you can, which is kind of fun to do sometimes. It can be pretty good, but I don't know, just a random tip if you feel like doing that, I guess. You can get yourself one substantial upgrade before actually getting into like the meat and potatoes of whatever sector you're going to right off the bat. I'm gonna kind of just do this like in the order that things present themselves, like automatically, basically. There's probably like an optimum strategy or something, like one place that has the fewest enemies with the most gear bits or something like that. I'm just gonna kind of do things as they show up, just for the sake of not having to keep track of where I've been so much, I guess. And it's kind of just like going straight down a checklist, like you go here, and then you go here, and then you go here, and this is the next thing to do, and then this is the next thing to do. But if you want to like explore around, and this game is decently open, it basically just says like, go anywhere in the world, and then once you get there you have like this sub-mission of collect these 4 things, and you can kind of go about doing that however you want. I mean, there are some things that are cut off, but largely you can do that. How you do that is up to you quite a bit, so it's pretty fun. So yeah, don't feel like if you're playing through this for the first time ever you have to do things in the order I'm doing them. It's really like you can just kind of explore around and do whatever you want to do, or if something's giving you a lot of trouble, you know, back out and go do something else till you get some more gear bits and you can buy some upgrades or something, especially early on, because like the chain dash and I would say the charge attack are so vitally important and just super helpful that like in your first sector, you're not going to have those right off the bat. Oh, whoops, should have gone. But yeah, you might want to like do other stuff until you can get enough gear bits to have both of those. And then after that, you know, like getting enough gear bits to get the deflecting bullets is super helpful. Whoop. And just, you know, whatever you think you might need to make it through a section that's giving you problems. I think those guys deal 2 damage if they land on you, and the wizard guys deal 2 damage if they shoot you with their really slow blast. These guys deal 2 damage, so they only have 2 health, but they can kill you really quick if they start hitting you. Like earlier when I got hit by one and then like knocked me down, and while I was getting up the other one hit me, like that did 4 damage, so if I had had any missing health at all I would have been dead. Or if I'd been the Anubis Dogman, which pretty much the Anubis Dogman's attack is like their attack all the time. It's just you can still do a 3 combo of it and it attacks way faster. So you're like an Ultra Birdman, basically. Oh dearie. You can get yourself into trouble in areas like this with the chain dash, because if you dash straight into a wall after 2 dashes, nothing happens. But on the 3rd one, you hit the wall and do the little stun animation. So sometimes you have to be careful not to do like a bunch of chain dashes right in a row, which seems like a good idea, because you can hit a wall and like bounce back, get stunned, and then get crushed. So sometimes it's safer just to do 2 dashes. Most of this area is set up that you don't need the chain dash at all because it's so early on. Like north is kind of, like I said, like sort of intended to be the first place you go. So they don't really expect you to have, because like I collected like as many gear bits as I could have and then teleported back to town immediately to buy the chain dash. You might go back and be like, oh, I think I want this in a shield when I dash through bullets, I guess. Because it's so open-ended, you can kind of do things however you want. So they earlier builds of the game did have it so they assumed you'd get the chain dash like really quickly, and then I think they kind of like changed the layouts of some of the floors and some of the crushy things and stuff to kind of like ease up on people that didn't have it necessarily right away, which is nice. But they didn't make the chain dash any worse. And I mean, the original build of the game was like, yes, chain dash, yes, get it, please, yes. So getting it early is super good because they kind of wanted you to. They just made it more so you don't have to. Oh, also, enemies don't respawn until you like teleport or like go back to town. But if you walk up to this teleporter and you're missing health, not health packs though, you can like press and hold Y to like reactivate the teleporter and it will heal you, but it also spawns in enemies. So, like for here, you kind of go into a little dungeon, and then it teleports you back here, and you don't have to go back to a place you just were. So it's not really a huge consequence for respawning the enemies, but later on you might want to maybe not do that if you plan on doing a lot of backtracking. And again, it doesn't replenish your health packs, only any missing health. So like for me right now, there wouldn't even be a reason to do it. And I think it automatically heals you when you teleport to town, or if you teleport like from here over to the east area. That will respawn the enemies, because that kind of counts as like activating the ground pad or whatever. It's like anytime you interact with the ground pad, it heals you and respawns enemies. Whoops. Wow, I'm awful. And I'm fine with it. Oh, please don't. Ping doesn't start telling you to heal yourself, and you don't start dripping blood on the ground until you have only 2 health left. And the controller vibrates and stuff shakes and whatnot. So if that all starts happening, just don't get hit by the wizards, because you'll die on the next one. So that's why I was kind of panicking, because I was like sucking with the movement, and then I knew I only had 2 health, even though I didn't actually like look to see. That's probably fine. It's probably fine. I'm sure we'll come to it. So yeah, that's the storytelling in this game. It's pretty weird. Sorry. You can actually skip those little cutscenes if they bother you by like, right after you pick up the 4th module, save quitting to the menu, like quickly like hitting start and then going quit the title. And then when you just continue your game, it'll be right after the cutscene. Just in case those things are like super loud and annoying to you or something. It can sometimes mess with the music though, and like the background sound effects and things can get a bit weird. I don't really know how to resolve that if it happens. I think just restarting the game, which at that point you're not really saving a lot of time, but whatever. Oh, please. I think there's an achievement for getting like one of these little green ogre dudes to like jump off a cliff. And if you, depending on which enemies you kill, it will raise and lower the barriers in this room. It's like just, that one happened to like set everything up in the worst possible position, because as soon as the ground would come back up, the enemies would run over to it. I was trying to get across there and they like dropped me down a pit. But I also would have got the achievement because they dropped themselves down a pit, so. One of the things I love about this game is I'm like 30 minutes into it, and already like the super core like game mechanics are pretty much unlocked. I mean, I would say that like reflecting bullets and a charge attack are awesome, but really it's about chain dashing in this game. And so everything is already super fast paced and awesome and just so enjoyable. It's only 30 minutes into it. Like a lot of games kind of hold out on like you actually having fun until you're quite some time into the game, just so they can like ramp things up over time. But this game ramps things up really well, but also it's immediately fun. I feel cool. I feel like a cool dude with all this dashing, and it basically only gets better. It's just like it starts out great and it continues to get better. Like something that springs to mind for a game that just like kind of sucks for a long time is like being a mage in Skyrim is really not that exciting for a huge portion of the game till you get to much higher levels and you can start using some like the really cool spells and stuff, which is fine, but it's like the designers for this game are pretty much like, let's just make it as fun as possible, as quick as possible, and then it'll just keep getting better. And so I really love how fast-paced this is and just how everything flows together. Like, shooting bullets is recharged by hitting things with your gun, or no, hitting things with your sword recharges your gun. So there's like this really natural flow between like shooting some bullets and then dashing over and hitting some people, dodging out of the way, shoot a guy, dash in, slash him, and the whole thing is just so good. It's all so good. It just flows amazing, I guess. And I don't really probably know exactly the nuances of the term like game feel or whatever, but it just makes me happy to play this. So they're doing something right, I guess. But yeah, like I said, this game definitely falls into my top 3 favorites consistently. I think the other 2 top favorite games, it kind of all shuffles around, is like Super Metroid and then Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Super Metroid's kind of the same thing, where the combat and movement like really flow together super well, and then because like the game is a platformer and then it's also like a shooty game, but all the dodging and everything and just the platforming mixed with the shooting of it, it all feels really good. Kind of like the dashing and the swordplay in this game all go together so well. And then Thousand Year Door is just freaking delightful and hilarious and excellent. I love like the somewhat real-time elements to the RPG, like turn-based combat. Like you can actually, you know, do super guards, and when you're doing attacks you have to do extra inputs for your attacks to do well, compared to like a Final Fantasy game where you just like select your attack and then just wait, I guess. So yeah, Super Metroid in this game I love so much, mainly for the gameplay, or like pretty much purely for the gameplay, and then like the story is there and it's like meh, whatever. And then Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is like mostly like the aesthetic in the world and just the writing and like the comedy that the game has and the characters and everything is what makes me love it so much. And then like the gameplay is pretty, it's a good RPG or turn-based combat as well. So yes, that is my top 3 and why. I don't think anyone asked for that. Of course, I don't think anybody's watching this either, so whatever. I'm just talking to myself, reaffirming my own feelings alone in my room. Again, if you are watching, thank you for checking this out. I hope you're enjoying it. If you need any tips or tricks or anything, I hopefully will show you them in the next few videos. But also feel free to leave a comment or anything. I super like talking to people in the comments. That's like my favorite thing on YouTube. It's just the interaction with the community. So anyways, this is the secret room where every time you collect one of the panels of text, it appears here, and there's 16, I believe. Yeah, because there's 4 in each sector. But so we can't actually get everything here until we collect all of those. There's another costume available, but there's a gear bit right now and a key, which is super useful. There's 4 keys per sector as well, and it's nice to have them all as soon as possible because that starts unlocking a lot more stuff for you, like secret areas with like a bunch of gear bit rewards or something, or new costumes and stuff. So going right there right now is kind of wasteful, I guess, because you have to come back there later at some point, much later in the game. But for now you get another gear bit and a key that you're going to want anyways. So it's a bit of a long journey, and also trying to dash your way down the stairs usually leads to just smacking your face in the wall like a bunch. And I guess, yeah, back in town, I have the dash and the charge attack, so we're sitting pretty in terms of upgrades. It's really nice to also get reflecting bullets before you go to the east or the west. There's a lot of ranged enemies in those areas, especially the east. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I would still say that like dash and charge attack should be your priorities, just because the charge attack is easy to pull off and it has a huge range. You know, it charges up really quickly and it does 5 damage, where like your starting pistol and your starting sword do 1 damage. And so it just like shreds bosses and mini bosses. Super useful. And like large groups of enemies, you know, hit all of them. When you hit somebody, it does like this kind of slow motion, like pause for a second, like, look, he's getting destroyed. But that also makes your hitbox linger a little bit, so it kind of, it can work jankily in your favor sometimes, where you'll hit a dude and you'll keep holding forward, and your sword will kind of just stay in the same spot, and you kind of just slide forward, killing everything. This area, actually, when the game like first came out, you pretty much needed the chain dash to get across those gaps. There was like sections of the floor that would fall out from underneath you, and if you didn't have the chain dash, it was nearly impossible to get across them. Whoop. That guy's like super magical floor pound also does 2 hearts, so or 2 boxes of damage. I don't really know. Oh, the only thing you can get from this little secret area is this extra gear bit. I don't really think you can get over to the other wizard guy to kill him. Yeah, you kind of just have to deal with the fact that he's going to be there forever unless you shoot your gun across the gap. I think Ping just gave like a super delayed... Hey, you can check for ground. Yeah, I think when I dashed up, he gave one of those. Oh. So, oh yeah, let's listen. That sound is, there's a module nearby. So if you're ever in a room and you hear this weird random pulsating, it's that there's always a module. So if you're having trouble finding one, well, I'm going to show them to you, but then also if you watch just part of this and then never check again, which I wouldn't blame you, haha, yeah, just listen for that sound and then rub your face on all the walls, and there should be a module somewhere nearby. There are quite a few secrets in this room, and I'm pretty sure most of them lead from this bookcase. Like this weird hallway where you can't see what you're doing, and like the walls kind of shift back and forth, so you'll just be walking and then you'll stop making progress, and it's kind of hard to tell that you're not moving forward. So when you're going down that hallway, kind of just like wiggle the joystick back and forth a bit. But then we get another slab. And then I think down here is another gear bit, which you can maybe see. Yeah, you can see from that little fight arena. It's like, how do I get that? Oh, another great thing that I love is the grenades. And you can get, I think the first grenade only costs 2, like, gold tokens. And then I don't know if the second one costs 3, I can't recall. But if you have 2, and you're like, well, I kind of want an upgrade, but I sort of can't technically afford, like, you know, charge attack or anything, like, maybe consider grenades. They're super good. They automatically recharge, so you don't really have to, like, they don't cost anything, you know, you just use them and they come back after a while. And they deal 3 damage, and they're like a huge AoE explosion. When you use them well, you feel like a cool guy for sure. I think this is like the biggest view in the game, where it's just like, oh, there's... Other than maybe right off the start where you can see the town, but this is just like, hey look, it's the horizon, it's an endless ocean. Kind of trying to put together what the world looks like is a little hard in this game, I guess. Like, the world as a whole. The world for what the game actually shows you is super beautiful. I love all the colors they use. I think the eastern area is by far my favorite, just because all like the dark blue and purple and the green and everything all blends together, so it's all so colorful and nice. And the first boss. Alright, so I got incredibly greedy right off the bat and almost died. So, yeah, those purple things don't actually hurt you until they explode. Like, they appear on the ground and then they kind of pop or whatever, and that's when the damage, like the hitbox, becomes a thing. Whoa! So you do have a second after they pop up to get out of the way. Or not. When he does that one where like a bunch of grids appear along the ground, it's kind of tempting to try to run away from it, but then you end up having to dodge it like 3 times or something because like you'll just be constantly running away from it and it's chasing you. So the best tactic is to kind of like move up towards the middle of the screen a little bit and see what direction it's coming from, and then kind of just try to just dash over it pretty much. And so you kind of just like run ahead and through it rather than trying to run away from it, because then it'll kind of chase you down and it can be really stressful trying to dodge it like 3 times or something. But yeah, that's the first boss. I guess maybe for the sake of walkthrough stuff, I would rather just kind of fight the bosses more slowly to give you guys like an idea of their attack patterns and stuff. If you sort of know when their weak points are, it's easy to dash in and just, like, I think at one point I hit him like with 3 charge attacks in a row, which is like 15 pips of health, and I don't even know like how much total health they have, but it can't be like that much. So I think that was a little bit overkill in some ways. But anyways, this is the railgun. It has like this laser sight, and then you shoot it, and yeah, it does 2 damage, pierces through enemies. And there are certain totems in the game, like in the tutorial, there's an area where you have to like shoot a little pillar to activate a bridge or whatever. There's certain totems that are like super beefy looking that can only be activated with the railgun, or like the Gauss cannon that you get super later in the game. It's like the last weapon you get. So also going north is helpful because like there will be spots in the rest of the game where if you don't have the railgun, you just can't get all this stuff and you have to come back to it later. Like this one right here is like a beefy totem. So if I shoot it with my normal pistol, it just flashes red at you. So you have to hit it with the railgun. And yeah. It flashes red at you even if you get the boss weapon from the east, or sorry, the west. Like the dog guy or whatever has like a super pistol. It's like really awesome, one of my favorite guns. But yeah, it seems like that would work, but it doesn't. The railgun does have a lot less ammo than the pistol, though. I honestly really like the pistol. If you get the ammo upgrade for the pistol, it has a ton of shots, and you pretty much get 1 shot back per hit. Like with the railgun, you don't necessarily get 1 shot back per hit. Sometimes you have to like hit people like twice, or sometimes like 1.5 times or something strange. But pistol is pretty much 1 hit equals 1 bullet, so it's easy to keep track of how many shots you're going to have. If you're trying to use the railgun regularly and you're out of bullets, like if you use your gun a lot in combat, you could start hitting people and then just think you have a shot and then not, whoops, and go to shoot and nothing happens, and then you get smacked in the face. I'm also really awful at aiming the railgun without being like, okay, wait, give me just a second, just a second, or whatever. For some reason I feel like I do better with the pistol, just like quick draw, like, because if you hold left trigger you can like aim, or you can just like be walking around and then shoot in a direction. And for some reason I do okay with the pistol, but like really, really bad with the railgun. I don't know what it is. So I don't personally use the railgun that much. I usually stick with the pistol and the shotgun, and then later I'll do like the pistol and like the super pistol, or the super pistol and the shotgun or something. The super pistol just feels dirty because it's like as easy for me to use as the regular pistol, but it does 3 damage, and when you get the upgrade for it, it has like 15 rounds or something insane. Or not 15 rounds, sorry, like 5 or 6 or something. And so you can just like decimate everything from a distance. And the guns in this game are super fun, but honestly the melee combat is my favorite part. But like throwing guns in the mix every now and again is really fun too, so. See, I'm so bad. Like, that first railgun shot was really way off to the side. Maybe I should just, like, practice with it or something, because I think it would be really helpful. I mean, 2 damage per shot and also piercing enemies, so if you shoot into a huge crowd. Also has the added benefit of, like, moving the screen. If you aim in a direction, like if I'm holding up with the pistol right now, like, nothing happens, but if I hold up with the railgun, it kind of moves the screen off to the side slowly a little bit. I don't know if there's a way to do that besides with the railgun, so you can use it to, like, look for stuff. It's the wolves' lingery hitbox getting me there again. So after you defeat the boss in each area, you can technically leave if you want to, but there's usually more stuff you can do to get all 8 modules, and then yeah, just a lot more stuff to do. This little tree leaves right here looks like one of the "hey, there's a secret nearby" squares on the ground, but there's not. So that can throw you off. So I'm trying to remember exactly where all we need to go. Oh, okay, I only need 1 more module. I wasn't sure how many there were. I wasn't doing a good job of keeping track. So the last one is actually way back towards the beginning, in that area where we killed like 5 of the green ogre dudes and they dropped a gear bit. There was some locked posts that went down after we beat the first boss. So now that's open, and that kind of leads us to the last module for this area. And then after that we can go do the 8 module door. So another good thing about the charge attack is if you hit an enemy with like only 1 health with a charge attack, you'll still get back 5 rounds of your gun. You can also do that. But so like that guy only had 1 health, but I was able to get back 5 shots on my gun because I hit him with a charge attack. So there's a couple skeletons that stop you from getting crushed right here. Don't dash too much through that hallway because it's really easy to hit like one of the walls and then you just get bounced backwards and then crushed. That's happened to me so many times. But anyways, if you like using the gun a lot, the charge attack helps you out because you can get back your bullets like in 1 hit. And like that spot earlier where I hit 4 of those guys all at once, that would give me back 20 shots if I like... There's no gun that takes that much, but like... Anyways, the charge attack is just like 1 charge attack would completely recharge any gun, upgraded or not. So... It can be pretty hard to actually tell where those guys are in the dark. I think there's like little shadows that'll appear on the ground, but sometimes they can be hard to see. Like, so when you see them falling in from the top of the screen, sometimes it's like, where are they landing? Like, behind me, in front of me? So you should just take it pretty slow through this area, because they kind of like, they like to drop down and then like immediately jump at you. And since you don't really know where they're actually going to land, they can be hard to figure out where they're going to jump from. Whoops, I suck. Okay. So it can get kind of be easy to get killed here, I guess. I sometimes will dash forward and get crushed by it on its way back. This gear bit's pretty hard to find because, yeah, there's not really one of the secret indicators on the floor, and like this section of wall, for example, is all messy and stuff. So yeah, there's just one right down here. But I mean, like that section of wall is all messy, so it's just kind of weird that they threw one in there. A lot of times, if you don't have a guide or anything to get you through it, you really just have to like rub your face on everything. Charge is also good for that. That kind of did the lingering hitbox I was talking about. Like I hit one guy and then it's just like smack, 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 and everybody just kept walking into the hitbox. And you know, it killed like the trillion, million, zillion guys all at once. Okay, so then once you get the 8th thing, just teleport back up. I think we have all the gear bits we could have at this point. So I don't think we need to have, like, we don't need to retrace our steps to make sure to pick up stuff along the way that we didn't get so far. Well, at least we have all the gear bits in the north that we could have. Like I said, you could go off to like the little starting areas of like east and west as well and pick up some more gear bits. But so far I think we're on track for 100%ing north. I can't be completely sure though because I haven't done 100% gear bits in so long. If you haven't done 100% gear bits, it's nice because once you get them, you get an achievement. But if you already have the achievement, there will be no indication, so it's hard to know. Like, if you know that there have been updates and you might not know where all the gear bits are, you won't really get an indication that you have them all if you've already done an achievement. So those guys, you can't hit them when they're flying around technically, but there's like a tiny little window after they like stop flying at you where you can still hit them, and there's like kind of a tiny window right before they start flying where you can hit them. So there's a little bit of leeway there. It makes killing them with guns quite a bit easier because you can kind of tell that they're about to start flying and you can just shoot a bullet and then they'll kind of like move into it automatically. This is a weird section, like, this is just a little wall, and you're supposed to dash over here. I didn't know how to get here for a long time, just because, like, there's a hidden piece of ground right here you can dash to, which is kind of scumbaggy, but, oh well, maybe? And then, yeah, it's sort of a race against time to kill all those guys. I'm not usually a huge fan of just intense gun spam, but in that case, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You can just like kill enough of them that you don't get like dropped off a cliff repeatedly. Most of the secrets along this path are on invisible paths. And I think it's a lot of gear bits. I think there's a key as well. In the final chamber there's the last like text pillar slab block. Text block slab? Yeah. Sometimes when there's like I don't know if it's little tiles or papers or something on the ground, that's also a signal for a walk-throughable wall. I think that's mostly a thing in the north. It could be a thing everywhere though. Dude was like scooting himself backwards as he made the little ground sigils, which I've never seen happen before. Oh, well, that's a wall. So if you do 3 dashes, and you hit the wall, then you'll like break your face. If you do 3 dashes and don't hit the wall, you won't break your face. But if you do more than 3 dashes and don't even hit the wall, you'll do a skid. So like 2 dashes is by far the safest number of dashes. 3 dashes is like the second safest if you know you're not going to hit a wall, and then anything above 3 is kind of risky because you can also slide and like slide off a cliff or whatever. So just something to keep in mind in like tight quarters or in areas around cliffs. So this one's like a double secret because there's a key right here, but then also there's like the paper or a tile or whatever on the ground right here that kind of symbolizes a walk-throughable wall, but there's also what you can't see, a pillar appeared when you turn this on, it like shifts the pillars up and down. And so when you flip this back, like now there's a pillar right here in this wall, so you have to shoot that and it lowers the invisible pillar and you can walk through here and get a module. And you can hit that and I think that just lowers everything. Yeah. So that's like a super secret. Well, is it this? No. Is it this? There it is. Alright, and now the little mini-boss arena. You kind of have to be careful here, because if you fall off or die... No, yeah, I think if you fall off at the wrong timing, it'll, like, just put you in an area where you can't get back to the arena and you just lose. You, like, get soft-locked. Hopefully that doesn't happen. probably happen. I'm gonna try my best to prevent it, I guess, by just not trying to go too fast, maybe. I think it happens when these side platforms appear and they add a couple, like, grand wizards! Uh-oh. Oh, my lord. Yeah, I'm probably dead. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so you can screw yourself and kill this guy too fast. I think, yeah, I just did it. Okay. Now I'm soft-locked. Yeah, because you're not supposed to go over to that guy until... Like, you're supposed to stand there and dodge their bullets for a while. I don't even know if going out and back in fixes it. Okay, it does. Oh, okay. Then I guess I'm not soft-locked. I guess even... I don't know if that was an update or something. I don't know how often they update this game at this point. When I did it before, you were just screwed, because I think it also, like, locked you in the room. So you just had to, like, save quit the game. Oh my gosh. Okay, no health kits, 2 health. 1 health. Oh my gosh, I didn't have a dash. So I think I have to redo that whole thing? No, just the section that I did after I left and came back into the room. Alright, so if you're doing really good up to that point, I guess that's sort of good. I don't have any extra health packs, so I'm not doing that great. Oh gosh. Uh-oh. One of those was invisible. Alright. I don't like this all the birds approach me while I'm lying on the ground business. Oh yeah, I forgot that the like the ground attack that the wizards can do hurts their friends, but not themselves, and I don't think other wizards of their own kind. But like that's kind of the case for that ground attack always. So against the first boss, if he does like the huge waves of attacks and then he summons in the 4 bird minions just to attack you in like the off phases, if you just ignore them, they'll pretty much always die because he makes so many of those little sigils appear on the ground. But I think that's everything for the north, except for there's an 8-key door, or there's a 10-key door. Each area has like a door that requires like a bunch of keys and then like only a few keys. I don't remember if we found like the few key door, but I think that's everything for the north. And I guess it's also an hour, so well, there we go. I guess that actually works out pretty much flawlessly in terms of the time schedule that I wasn't going to keep to in schedule. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was informative and fun to watch. Anyways, I guess I'll probably be doing more of these, and I'll see you in those ones. So thank you so much for checking us out. Goodbye, everyone.